here. The title of his talk is A Foreign Policy of Freedom. Please welcome our hero, Ron Paul.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's a delight to be here. It's always nice to be among friends. You know, on occasion I give a speech on the House floor. I never get applause like that. So I know there's a difference. But the truth is this last year has gained a little bit of attention from other members of the floor. Now, it'd be nice to say, well, they're all very interested in our philosophy, but you know what got their attention is what many of you helped do, and that was raise $6 million in one day. See, money talks over there, and they talk to me. They're friendlier than ever, Republicans and Democrats, and they want me to teach them how to raise money. How do you use the internet? And they don't have the vaguest idea that it has something to do with the voting record. There was one day, a congresswoman came up to me, and we were sitting there, and she was very, very sincere. And she said, oh, I have a lot of your supporters in my district, and you know I vote the way you do, and all this. And we were in the process of a vote, and the vote up on the screen was like 430 to 1. But she was bragging, and I had to come to her district and endorse her and help her get reelected. And I didn't have the heart to just say, you know, maybe there's a reason. I said, you know, just point up and say, maybe that's what you're supposed to do on an occasion. But that message didn't quite get through. And they think it's a tactical thing. They think it's a technique. And let me tell you, we had a great campaign. We did a lot of good things, but we also had some problems. And sometimes we were disorganized. But sometimes that was a benefit. You know, it was very laissez-faire. And people did a lot on their own, thank goodness, you know, and it was fantastic. But on the Hill, they think that it's all a technique and a tactic and how you use the internet, how do you rent the list, and what do you do and what you say. And the whole truth is that what happened was the message got out. You know, our philosophy got out. The fact that we were able to get on the debates, you know, made a big difference. And then they would go to the website and they would read this, and then they would come back and say, not only did you say this and we read this and we know what you believe, but then we go and look at your voting record and you actually voted that way, you know. So that was really what helped break us through and get some attention. And so often, I think even this evening already, I had one individual come up and say, you know, you're the best congressman that we have on the Hill. And I said, yeah, but the competition isn't all that tough. So someday maybe the competition will be a little tougher and we can brag a little bit more. But I am always careful to talk about our campaign and our message, and to me it is, and it was really true in the campaign. It was a lot of people came together. So many of you in this room spontaneously sent in money, and I had a couple of rules, and one was to have fun. And so many people had fun raising money and spending it too. I mean, they would get limousines and airplanes and blimps and all kinds of things, and they managed, some of them and this really pleased me, they were able to manage it without even dealing with the FEC. So that's pretty good. That's a pretty good achievement, and within the law of the land. So I was very happy that there was a lot of this spontaneous activity and a lot of strong endorsement. But you know, as this went on, you know, I met so many people, and would talk to most of them when we go to rallies, and so many young people. And the crowds are always so diverse. And so often when I get them in, I ask you, what is it? What got your attention? And what issue were you interested in? Sometimes it's general, the issue of freedom. Many, many times the young people say, it's the Constitution and you voted that way. And sometimes it'll be, it's the Federal Reserve. We got to get rid of the Federal Reserve. That always pleases me. But the night that really got my attention, early on when we had a debate in Michigan, I went over, and I was a little late for it because of the debate. We went over to University of Michigan at Ann Arbor, and it was a big crowd and big turnout. And when I brought up the subject of the Federal Reserve, I couldn't believe it. How many people started yelling and cheering, and they all broke out these Federal Reserve notes and started burning them. So I knew we were making some inroads, this idea. And the young people especially will have me sign bills, sometimes mostly ones, but fives or whatever. You know, they're a little cautious. But they always want me to sign. They taught me this. I used to sign any place. But they always want me to sign over and cancel out the Federal Reserve seal on the money. So interesting things have happened. But, you know, the other day I was watching a video, and you know, occasionally there was a video or two on the internet, and some of them were just fantastic, you know, creative and entertaining and so much music. And I've always assumed that if a group and a campaign gets going, you will have music, and you won't have to buy it. It'll come, and so that pleased me a whole lot that there was so much music. But the one thing that I was watching the other day was a new one, and it had to do with poking fun at the others for the way they treated me. You know, the laughing and the ridicule. And a lot of people would come up and ask me, how do you put up with that? The truth is I could hardly ever see it or hear it when I was up there. But they started, when I looked at this video, you know, there was a lot. But I think that just shows that they don't have too much in their heads, and that's about all they can do is laugh and ridicule, and because they don't understand, and it's so strange to them. They just can't imagine that an individual could represent a group of people like you and get on a national program and, you know, just, you know, tell the truth and you know, that's sort of strange. And you talk about monetary policy. How long has it been since somebody really talked about monetary policy? Monetary policy was one of the issues that got me involved in politics very early on. I was studying Austrian economics in the 1960s, and there were these predictions, and also financial people dealing with that issue. Yep. The breakdown of the Bretton Woods, the gold price is going to be released, and the value of that dollar is going to go down. And I believed it. But I was waiting, and of course, August 15th, 1971, it occurred, and shortly thereafter, I said, I got to at least talk about this, because I found it fascinating, and ran for Congress the first time in 1974. But it wasn't only the announcement in 1971, and the fact that it was a Republican, it was Nixon, it was wage and price controls, and tariffs, and closing the gold window. It was the reaction the next day that got my attention. It was a Sunday when they made that announcement. And on Monday, the Chamber of Commerce came out and fully endorsed it. And the stock market loved it. The stock market at that time went up a total of 34 or 38 points. It was a historic movement of the Dow in one day. And that's probably like 600 points or something today. But it went up 38 points, 34 points or whatever. And so the markets were ecstatic about and the business people were ecstatic. The banks were loving it. Of course, you know, I thought, well, something is strange. I didn't believe that they were right, but I understood that we will not be saved by those people who are involved and have that type of mentality. The one thing I can assure you from this campaign and spending many years in this business is that our country and our market and our dollar will not be saved by big corporations or international financial people. They are very, very rarely our allies. It doesn't mean that every single one of them won't be on our side, but people who are grassroots individuals. I mean, the support for no income tax and getting rid of the Federal Reserve comes from common people, working people, minorities, all kinds of people that you would think they don't even understand the issue. And yet they do. But the individuals who have learned to milk the system is quite different. Now, one thing that I think happened in this campaign, I think the attention getter was foreign policy. I think that was the big issue. I heard that the most. And the great thing about foreign policy is it invited a lot of different people into our organization. It wasn't just the conservatives. And it was across the board, independents, liberal Democrats, Green Party people, and whatever. But, you know, one of the most disappointing events, even though we achieved something in spite of it, early on in the campaign, there was a debate being held in Iowa, crucial state. We wanted to have a presence there. And so we were waiting for the invitation. And all of a sudden, we'd call, well, no, we don't want you there. You can't come.